Many people, including myself, recently spoke on the ARK Survival Evolved controversy, which was regarding the inclusion of paid DLC in an early access and unfinished product. Now, personally, while people might have been salting the earth a little bit too much, I did see their argument in that, look, the game is unfinished, it's still in early access, and yet you're still adding DLC content to the game. And now the developer Wildcard have spoken out against it, or rather should I say the community manager Jat has attempted to explain the studio's point of view and reiterate that development on the main game hasn't stopped. And he said, quote, "Put simply, we're absolutely committed to driving aggressive development towards a solid, feature-robust game launch for ARK Survival Evolved. Everyone at Wildcard wakes up every day thinking about how we can make ARK into a better game today than it was the day before. It's not always easy, but our intent is ever forward progress towards a retail release that will be far more ambitious in scope and features than our original version when we launched ARK into Steam Early Access in June 2015. Your feedback enables us to continue to expand the game to become better than ever. Scorched Earth, our original vision for ARK always included the creation of expansion ARKs, along with the infrastructure and technical systems to transfer data dynamically between live ARKs. We determined that it is more sound to iterate on these systems during early access than after retail launch, given the significant risks involved if we didn't get it right. While that meant unveiling the first expansion early, it also means an easier time integrating further post-launch expansions into the ARK network. We understand that this isn't everyone's cup of tea, and we appreciate the enjoyment people seem to be getting out of the initial view of how expansion ARKs will work. Now that we have the systems in place to support them, we can ensure minimal integration issues with subsequent releases after ARK Survival Evolved itself has launched." Okay, that's all well and good, community manager, but I have one question for you. If that's the case, if you just wanted to test the systems, why was the DLC not free? Why was it not 20p? 50p? £1 even? And label it clearly as, hey, look, this is our first DLC to test the waters, and you know, it's only a small piece of DLC, so we can make sure that for bigger pieces after the game comes out, that everything works properly. Why didn't you do that? I mean, the game is now, the expansion is £14.99, and that's why the game is now rated mostly negative on the Steam store, because, well, you're charging £15 for DLC of a game that in itself is not finished. And if you just wanted to test the systems, then you could have just released a free piece of DLC, or a DLC that was really, really cheap, or whatever. Again, we're not entitled to free content. It is well within a developer's remit to release expansions and DLC. That's fine, I don't have an issue with that. Some DLC can be done really, really well. For example, with The Witcher 3. Those are more expansions rather than DLC, but you get my point. BioShock Infinite, that DLC was really good. There are really good DLCs out there, but I can see why people are upset, because, you know, they're seeing it as, look, this developer is making a lot of money off of this franchise that is, and not franchise, this game, should I say, that is still not finished, and then they're using some of that money to, instead of funding the game, make DLC. And I know it's not just like an either-or situation, like this £5 can either be spent on development for the game or development for the DLC, but they do only have a certain amount of budget, given that they're a fairly small team, and people will see it as development time taking away from things. And I can't really blame them, especially when the game is still in early access. If the game is out, no argument. There is no argument to be had there. But the game is still being worked on and has been worked on for a long time. Again, I do think some of the vitriol is a bit much from some people, but I can see why the more sort of reasonable people, shall we say, are upset about this. And this isn't really much of an explanation. It tells us why that they did it, kind of, but I still think there's a few holes in their argument. So, again, this is all my opinion, and you are free to disagree with me. Do let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.